How did we get here? Inside the masquerade, pretending we're not afraid, behind safety's veneer. Are you awake? While they're handing out yellow stars, the history books screaming out, we've seen this before. Under the thorn, we've forgotten who we are. It's in our DNA to be free. We're not made to live this way. Pushed to our knees, 'cause we're falling fast asleep. Can't stand for liberty, bowing to tyranny. It's not meant to be this way. We've traded free hands, fought by the blood of man, for illusions of guarantees, just to be slaves again. Liberty's flame still burns through the darkest night. Will you open your eyes to see? Will we be brave again? Under the thumb, we've forgotten who we are. It's in our DNA to be free. We're not made to live this way. Pushed to our knees, 'cause we're falling fast asleep. Can't stand for liberty, bowing to tyranny. It's not meant to be this way. Has fear become the new religion? We're passing on to our children. Oh, I'm calling to the people. Wake up and hold the line. Will you join me turning tables while we still have time? Will you join me turning tables while we still have time? Under the thumb, we've forgotten who we are. It's in our DNA to be free. We're not made to live this way. Pushed to our knees, 'cause we're falling fast asleep. Can't stand for liberty, bowing to tyranny. It's not meant to be this way.
Welcome to our Republic Matters podcast. I'm Chris,
And I'm Johnny.
and tonight we're up to episode number 96, and we're going to be talking about some current news and events. A lot of interesting topics, I think, that we're going to cover today. So, the most powerful weapon is not a bomb, it's the truth.
We need to send that to everybody we got in Washington, particularly the Democrats. The Democrats don't know anything about that.
No, they have no clue what the truth is.
No, it goes back to the old thing. The way you can tell they're lying, their lips are moving.
The people telling you Trump is wrong about the tariffs are 100% wrong about inflation, the jabs, Ukraine, law and order, immigration, bailouts. You said, you name it, they've been wrong.
Yes, sir. And when we tried to debunk it, we were conspiracy theorists.
And so this is the chart that Trump talked about when he had the meeting on the tariffs. The ones he showed during the press conference. And you can see, just about every country had some type of tariff on us. You look at China, they had a 67% tariff on us. The European Union had 39%. And so Trump didn't even put 100% tariffs. Most of these are about half what the countries are putting on us. So, I think this is more than fair.
I guess to borrow this story is reciprocal, not equal. Because my thinking, if they're going to charge us, let's charge them. I'm tired of paying for Europe. That's what we were paying off, the World War II was through tariffs. That's done. We need to get over it. I'm glad he's doing something, and of course I support him, but I wish it had been 100% of what they're charging.
Yeah, I agree. It's crazy that people think it's okay for them to charge us, but we shouldn't charge tariffs, or people are all in outrage over it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's all globalists. They want to see the United States brought down. Mm-hmm. That's the simple matter of it. They're jealous of us. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they can keep on being jealous.
That's right. So these are some countries that before democracy and after democracy. So you got Iraq, Libya, Syria, Yugoslavia, Yemen. They don't look too better off after we interfered, do they?
That's a big thought provoker. And then when you add on to it what we've done in the world compared to what Iran's done, who's the villain here? I certainly don't say it's the American people, because we support them crooks we got in Washington. But our government, this is what our government, which is supposed to be for the people and by the people, this is what they've done all over the world. It's ridiculous. It's time we all stood aside and said, no, we ain't doing this no more. And that's one reason why a lot of these countries are glad to see this USAID suspended. It's because we've taken that money going into their countries and trying to cause problems.
Yeah, it's a big slush fund for all these payoffs.
Oh, bigly.
So when someone asks why I don't support Ukraine, well, because Bush supports it, John Kerry, Biden, Soros, Hillary, Pelosi, Obama, you name it. All of these liberal globalists are all about Ukraine.
And when we first started, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying Hollywood supports it. That pretty much tells you what you need to know.
Oh, yeah. We need to back off of it. But, months ago, Chris, we talked about the Kerrys, the Pelosi's, and the ex-president's son, the connections they had to Ukraine and to those labs and things. So we've known for a long time we wasn't going to support Ukraine because of them. Plus, why do we want to fight a war in Ukraine? That's on the other side of the world.
You have the Ukrainian officials release the kickback numbers they gave. You can see Joe Biden, 92 million, Mitch McConnell, 89 million, Pelosi and Schumer and Mitt Romney,
Graham.
Not hard to see why they support Ukraine.
Yeah, the only one I don't see on there is John Kerry. He was a big recipient of it because his boy was involved with Hunter Biden in Ukraine. There's no doubt that the money we've been sending them has just been flowing right straight back to us. That's why that guy that had that exchange for crypto is in jail right now. Because he took a lot of money that's coming out of Ukraine and poured it back into the Democratic Party, like $1 billion worth.
Yep, big money laundering scheme.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we've got a couple of clips that we'll show. This one's Trump at the UFC fight. So let's take a look at those.
Well, when he first started coming, it made it challenging because we had never done it before. Now it's a piece of cake. We work well together with Secret Service and law enforcement, and it goes pretty smooth. Other than some roads being shut down when people are trying to get here, but other than that, it's been very smooth. They're easy to work with, and he's such a huge fight fan. He loves coming to the fight, so it's fun. I like when he comes.
Right, this morning, Houston police providing an update on 2 young men accused of murdering a teenager as part of a satanic ritual.
Channel 2's Anusha Rasta joins us live from downtown with the latest developments in this case. Anusha?
That's right. Well, the Houston Police Department, the FBI, and DPS are now all investigating this case and a connection between the MS-13 gang and the victim in this case. Now, take a look at these 2 pictures. These are the 2 men the Houston Police Department believe are MS-13 gang members responsible for killing a 15-year-old girl execution style in a satanic ritual and then leaving her body in a ditch. This morning, Houston police told us they think they now know the identity of the girl, but they are not releasing that information to the public at this time. Investigators say her accused killers confessed to the crime after they were arrested. 22-year-old Miguel Alvarez Flores, there you see on the left, and 18-year-old Diego Hernandez Rivera on the right appeared in court this week. Now, according to HPD, most MS-13 gang members are in this country illegally, and these 2 murder suspects could be as well. Police say they have reported the 2 to Homeland Security. Now, an investigator told us this morning that officers found evidence in the apartment where these gang members were keeping underage girls that led police to believe there was some sort of satanic ritual activity happening there. HPD says there were 3 underage girls in the apartment of the murder suspects, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old who was murdered, and then a 16-year-old girl. Police say the 14-year-old told detectives she was kidnapped, drugged, and sexually assaulted by members of the MS-13 gang. Now, the 14-year-old also reportedly told investigators she was moved from one apartment to another, forced into consuming drugs and alcohol, then at one point was held down as Alvarez Flores tattooed the image of the Grim Reaper on her body from her knee down to her foot. This girl also told police the 15-year-old at the apartment was a girl named Genesis. She believes Genesis is the girl found dead on February 16th. Now, the witness also told investigators there was a satanic statue in the apartment, and the gang members said they wanted to offer the beast a soul. Police say Hernandez Rivera and Alvarez Flores killed the girl execution style.
People automatically think when they call and give us information or they want to assist in an investigation that we're going to just disseminate that information out in the street. That's not the case. People should not be scared of criminals. They should trust their police, the local police, that we're going to be there to help them.
Yeah, they're an HPD investigator urging the public to speak up, call law enforcement if you see something that appears to be strange to you or you believe that there is some sort of illegal activity that you have witnessed. Now, the 2 murder suspects are in jail. They are also facing aggravated kidnapping charges. Reporting live in downtown Houston, Anusha Rasta, KPRC Channel 2 News.
So that's the kind of people these liberals want to feel sorry for, is the criminals.
Yeah, I wish those guys need to be on a plane to El Salvador and put in that prison down there. I mean, we don't need to be wasting our money on the court system up here trying them jokers. They ought to be straight on a flight down there and put in the cell with 78 other people with 2 bathrooms. I mean, come on, for the rest of their life. And then we got these judges they want to take up for them. Now, I think this is a really good sign that the FBI is stepping in and arresting these men and women that are harboring these illegal aliens. As you can see, there's a New Mexico judge and then a Wisconsin judge. So I'm hoping this is part of the great plan of the FBI and the DOJ to kind of neutralize these judges that are causing so much trouble with Trump's agenda.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well. Of course, none of this would have happened under Biden.
Oh no!
In terms of the arrest.
No, if it's under Biden, I mean, it'd be like the guy in California that was released about 7 years ahead of time that killed a kid, an illegal alien. I mean, come on. Man, don't you like to see a judge perk walk?
I'm happy to see it.
Oh
About
yeah,
time.
that's a great sight. Instead of the FBI raiding innocent Americans' homes, going after somebody like this, there's his wife there. They getting her too. So she was aiding and abetting. So that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Both of them when they wind up in federal court.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see
handling
it.
that camera. Whoever handled that camera on that shot wasn't too steady, were they, buddy?
No, they weren't. Yeah, and this is just one of the articles.
Yeah, that's an article on the judge in Milwaukee. Y'all need to check these articles out. They're interesting, though. Again, I'm going to be looking for more because I think that most of this stuff these judges are doing all over the country is illegal and blocking the Trump's agenda.
This is from the Gateway Pundit. The German court convicts a young American woman of manslaughter for fatally stabbing an African migrant who sexually assaulted her. So she was groped, and then she walked away, and the migrant followed her and tried to grope her again. And so she stabbed him with a pocket knife, resulting in his death. And so they convict her of manslaughter. That's crazy.
Well, it just goes to show you think it's crazy here. It's worse other places. I mean, they're doing similar things, to people in England. It's ridiculous.
It really is. Here's the article here from the Gateway Pundit. But I mean, who are the criminals here? So Trump launches chemtrail task force with the power to arrest geoengineering criminals. So hold on to that thought with this article.
Yep.
We'll get back to this. And then, of course, on the right, you have the latest pandemic preparation by the WHO, with more than 15 countries and 20 regional health agencies. When are they going to learn?
Not a darn thing. I mean, if you read the article, you see the countries that participated. I mean, it's like Canada, Colombia, Costa Rica, Denmark, Ethiopia, Germany, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, of all people, Mozambique, Nepal, Pakistan, Qatar, Somalia, Uganda, and the Ukraine. Those are the participating countries. I'm telling you. I hate it when they practice something like this because it tells you what they got on their mind, what's going to happen next. They're going to cook up some harebrained idea about a pandemic. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll definitely be ready for it this time.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to fall for it like they did the last time it happened.
Absolutely not. Nope. It ain't happening. Well, you see, they already tried it with the bird flu. They tried it with the monkeypox. You know, they've already run 2 or 3 of them passes, and none of them stuck. The only thing that happened with the bird flu is our government foolishly killed millions and millions of chickens, causing our egg prices to go way up. I mean, it's crazy. That's the only thing that happened there. But it had no negative effect other than that on humans.
Yeah, I'm so glad Trump pulled us out of the WHO and defunded them.
He did that last time. And if we best run and elect a Democrat next time, I won't do it. But if the country does, they'll put us right back in it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, let's hope that don't happen.
Well, I'm telling you, it's time people to realize that what Trump is doing is trying to straighten the country out. And if we sit on our laurels and don't try to support him to get his agenda through, when the Democrats get back in there, we sunk. And they're working at it hard. We're going to see in just a few minutes how hard they're doing it.
So on this slide on the left, this is Trump's chemtrail task force makes first major geoengineering arrest. And on the right, it's just there's podcaster Jeffrey Prather talked about it on his podcast as well. There's a link if you want to watch his podcast. I think it was over an hour, but. And then if we look
I think it's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we look at the article, it was 2 pilots, 2 military contractors that were arrested in their role for piloting the aircraft. They were basically spraying toxic chemicals over Florida.
Which, of course, Florida recently passed a law against that. But I think it's a good thing they grabbed the pilots. Maybe they'll get back to the people that's really running the thing, that's running the program. Of course, I think people really think it's the Air Force that's behind it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's going to be real interesting.
Yeah. You also hear of DARPA. Maybe DARPA's involved in it in some way. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, that's part of the Defense Department, but this operation was operating out of Eglin Air Force Base. So, I said, this. I know that this all originates from Bobby Kennedy. He's really after this stuff, so we'll see how that turns out. I think it's going to be another thing that's going to be very interesting. And you and I have been talking about chemtrails for 2 years or 3 years. Monkey Works talks about chemtrails. All you got to do is step out in your yard sometime, just look up and you'll see them. It's not every day, but I've seen it where the sky was just about full of them.
Yeah,
where we live.
I mean, and they're obviously not natural. A lot of the ones we see are. So.
No, because they don't just go away like it does if it's a contrail from a plane. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Like I said.
Yeah, I hope it leads to more arrests.
Oh yeah.
Fox News admits to government using dew a week before the California fires began.
Well, when those fires started, I really thought they were set. And I really thought it was the government, that did it. We talked about it in Lahaina. And they're just now beginning to build that thing back. And that's been, 2 years ago?
Yeah. And so Catherine Herridge is also talking about this on X. The top U.S. neuroscientist and military advisor confirms reports are credible that directed energy weapon attacks have happened on U.S. soil and targeted U.S. personnel abroad. Exclusive new records reveal exposure to microwave weapon after intel officer discovers secret op. And she has a video you can go watch on her X channel.
She's a very credible reporter too, as you recall. She used to be with Fox. Then she went to CBS, and then they let her go over there. She's out on her own now.
Yeah, and you can see the video is about 17 minutes if you want to check it out yourself. So this is from Fox News. Lawsuit tracker, new resistance battling Trump's second term through an onslaught of lawsuits taking aim at EOs.
The only reason why I thought this was so interesting, I wasn't interested in looking at every one of the cases. But if you scroll down this article, you will find out it's incredible. I couldn't believe it. I just kept scrolling it. I don't know. No, that's just comments, isn't it?
It's just not loading.
There we go. Okay, maybe it's just loading slow.
There you go.
There we go. It's incredible, Chris, as you scroll down it. I believe there's 155 of them. Now, I think it just affects me more than it does Trump, because I don't think he cares. But this is ridiculous. Everything he's done, somebody sued him over it, or they've had some judge to rule against him. Like they're going to run the country. A judge.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
And that's subject to change too, because they're announcing something just about every freaking day. You know what's really exasperating to me is you see all this stuff these Democrats are doing. All of these state attorney generals in Democratic states suing him. What happened to Republicans? I mean, where are we? Where's our attorney generals? What? It's just ludicrous. We don't have the Republican Party doesn't have a backbone.
No, they don't. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they won't stand up for anything. So now we got a couple of videos, and then we'll come back.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States. These IDs keep our country safe because they help prevent fraud and they enhance security. Please do your part to protect our country. Go today and don't delay. To learn more, go to dhs.gov/real-ID. Thank you.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem made an announcement last week that has caused a bit of a stir.
It has something to do with Real ID. Here she is.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States.
Now, actually, some of the backlash here is coming from people on the right. Congressman Thomas Massie, Republican, for instance, wrote on X, real ID isn't needed and won't stop terrorists from hijacking planes. Most of the 9/11 hijackers held Saudi, UAE, Egyptian, or Lebanese passports. Real ID is a national standard and a database of IDs that's primarily a tool for control of Americans. Trump shouldn't enforce it.
Now, per the TSA, 81% of travelers who go through airport checkpoints are already compliant. Congress had passed the Real ID Act back in 2005, which then allowed for there to be a federal standard on state IDs, but this measure was supposed to go into effect in 2008. It never did. TSA spokesman Carter Langston defended the initiative, writing, "Identity verification is a linchpin in security, and we will make sure that passengers are verified as being who they say they are before they can go beyond the checkpoint."
Well, I am very frustrated to hear this is going into effect. Now, of course, most people already have a Real ID if you had to update your driver's license anytime recently, depending on what state you live in. They've already made your driver's license Real ID compliant, so probably this isn't going to affect you in that way. It will affect you in having your license now be in this database, and which I know a lot of libertarian people who have serious privacy concerns both about whether hackers will actually be able to penetrate that database and get your information. And then Thomas Massey's point is very well taken, that this is not, again, we're doing security theater. We're still, however, 20 years later, 25 years later, we're still doing 9/11 based security theater, at doing things that are more restrictive, more difficult, more burdensome, more inconvenient for Americans, because national security and safety, with no shred of evidence, this is going to help protect against terrorism or anything of that nature. The TSA itself is the textbook example of this. The entire agency should be abolished. Paging Dr. Elon Musk to the Doge operating room. I want TSA gone. It is a abhorrent waste of money and inefficient and doesn't contribute to our safety whatsoever.
Well, I'm not going to go that far with TSA, but I do agree with you that the Real ID, I think that it wasn't needed. First off, if you look at just the possibility that in time this could be used at the voting booth. This could be also used to get your social security check, right? So I think that in time, there's challenges with Real ID that are going to keep pressing on. I think that also, if you look at the cost that this required, that's part of the reason, Robbie, why so many folks were against this, why it took so long to become law. It was an estimated back by the federal government in 2007, 2008, that this was going to cost $11 billion to implement. So Doge, take a look at that. They would have had a field day. $11 billion to implement. So if we think about sometimes some of the things that are going into law, I think we need to think about how much is this actually going to cost for states to, make sure that everyone has this and it's implemented properly, and you have the processes and the systems and all of that kind of thing. So I think that that's two major points that I have with it. As far as TSA, we need TSA, Robbie. We need TSA.
No, we don't.
We need TSA.
We don't need it at all.
Folks,
we should get rid of it.
Next time you go to the airport and you don't see TSA, you're going to be like, how are we going to make sure that everything is safe?
By locking the cockpit doors.
Oh, come on.
Prevents.
Oh, come on.
No,
Come on. But let's be serious.
No, I'm being completely serious. They don't. What you think the plane isn't safe to fly on because you have a hairspray bottle that's over 4 ounces? It's nonsense. It's utter because we have to take off our shoes. Oh, we took off our shoes and belts. Now we're safe.
Well, they're getting better at
idiotic ritual.
They're getting better at actually the process. So if you go to different airports,
don't catch
different airports,
knives, and also you can assemble. I mean, I don't want to get this video banned.
Let's not give people ideas.
They sell everything you need to make an incendiary device once you've already gotten past the security.
So look, so TSA is a whole nother issue, right? We could create a total topic on
alcohol
rising
and lighters,
on rising about the TSA. But Real ID, I think there's a lot of challenges. I also think when you think of the House bill that's also happening simultaneously that is related to voters and having to require another, proof of citizenship. I think that's a whole nother way of voter suppression. So I think when you have these things happening, it reminds us of the poll tax. It reminds us of what people had to do in order to vote. And so I think when you get into the Real ID mix and you get into the House bill that's currently, going back and forth, I think that we get into some serious waters when it comes to, are we working to get people who are not only minorities and disenfranchising folks, but also those who are unhoused, those who have gone through national disasters, can't find their birth certificate. I think you run into some serious territory when you start to go backwards and how we treat voting and identification in this country.
Yeah, I just don't want to have to move throughout the country like it's some militarized zone, like under some communist state where you have to there's checkpoints everywhere and barbed wire, and you have to show some kind of ID. I mean, that's a little bit of hyperbole and dramatizing it, but that's the way we're moving if we do this. And that's not, and again, they'll say it's for safety, it's for national security, but they'll never demonstrate or prove why that is the case. Yeah. How does this actually make us
I'm
safer?
agreeing with you on that one. Yeah, I think on a rare moment we're in agreement.
Okay, but the TSA too.
No, that's another day.
Hear me out on this.
Another day.
The planes are safe because they used to allow them to be taken captive. Like, you know that, right? Like, until 9/11, it was standard procedure. If somebody tries to hijack the airplane, you just let them do it because they were going to fly it to Cuba. There was tons of plane hijackings throughout the 60s and 70s, and I think even in the 80s, through because they were hijacked by crazy activist people. Then the 9/11 hijacking happens. They fly the plane into a building. We'll never let that happen again because we lock the cockpit doors and you can't take the actual pilot hostage, and you can't blow up.
I think there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes.
That's what I have to say.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that you and I are not always privy to, where TSA is helping out. I do think we need TSA, and I think it's a big overreach to say eliminate TSA. So again, we agreed at least on one part of this topic, but not the other. So we'll get back to it another day.
You don't miss the era when you could just show up to the airport.
I don't think I've ever shown up. I mean, and you're young.
Well, now you have to
I don't think I've ever just.
You have to get there
shown
2.5 hours in advance to do this song and dance where they
you gotta
abuse you and sexually assault you as you move through.
Overreach. They're
the ones overreaching, quite literally.
They do not. I have not. I know that there are things that happen, but I think to say that they're always doing sexual assault is again another. That's an overreach. That's stretching across. That's stretching across a little bit too much. I won't go that far. You need to pack better, Bobby. That's what it is. You need to pack better. All right, let's move on to our next topic coming up. President Trump hosts one of his biggest critics for dinner. Did he win comedian Bill Maher over? We'll see. That's up next.
So this the Real ID was back from the Patriot Act, right? So
yeah,
they're just now wanting to enforce it. So starting on May 7th. You got to have this Real ID to fly domestically. I think you can use a passport in its place, but more government surveillance.
If that's the truth, but they did say if you renewed your license with your state recently, you probably have a Real ID. I know I just did that a year ago, and I don't know if I got a Real ID or not. But the Patriot Act, and I agree with this guy, his discussion about TSA. That's a big waste, a big waste. You're talking about slowing down travel, and I agree with more ID. I mean, I think your state ID or your state driver's license should be sufficient, or like I said, your passport. No need to issue a separate one. It's going to cost us. If it's $11 billion back in 2008, it's probably going to be $25 billion now to do it. So they need to take a real hard look at that.
Well, the same information you use to get your license, you're going to be using the same information to get the Real ID.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I said. Dial up Doge.
Yeah. More government wastefulness.
Yeah.
So we have Fox News, a viral CIA file about aliens attacking soldiers takes off with UFO intrigue. And then we have judge finds Google holds illegal online and ad tech monopolies.
Look like Google and Facebook are in trouble. They're both in court, so we'll see how that turns out. Yeah. They do have the big bucks.
They do. But they definitely have a monopoly, so it'd be interesting to see if they get broken up, at least in the ad space.
Well, going back to that first article, I think it's what you're probably going to, play this video on. But look at the stuff the CIA's released lately. They know where the Ark of the Covenant is. Now they've released this about the UFOs and the alien abductions of some citizens. I've come to the conclusion that if the CIA says, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we've done a lot of podcasts on some of the things that the CIA has been involved with, from what, Operation Paperclip, or do they spawn out of that? And, you know, Mockingbird Media, MK Ultra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I'm very suspicious of anything is related to the CIA.
Me too. See, this is like a minute, a little over a minute. We'll take a look at this.
Reports tonight from the Pentagon.
This video, shot by two Navy F-18 Super Hornet pilots in 2015 on a training mission over the Atlantic, has launched a new cottage industry and massive government reporting requirement for those who think they are seeing UFOs, which the Pentagon agency created to oversee these sightings, now terms Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, or UAPs. A new Pentagon annual report required by Congress found a sharp increase in UAP sightings, 757 between May 1st, 2023 and June 1st, 2024. Most were found to be balloons, birds, drones, aircraft, or satellites. The Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, says, quote, a commercial pilot reported white flashing lights in the night sky. AARO assessed that this sighting of flashing lights correlated with a Starlink satellite launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
The department has not discovered any verifiable evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology.
But that hasn't stopped speculation that the Pentagon is hiding something or may be in possession of non-human alien remains.
There is something out there. The question is it ours? Is it someone else's? Or is it otherworldly?
The Pentagon has received over 1,600 UAP reports to date, but more than 900 reports lack sufficient data to examine. One witness reported seeing a jellyfish with flashing lights, which the Pentagon was then required to investigate. To date, investigators have not found evidence linking any of these incidents to a foreign power. Brett?
Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Jennifer, thanks.
Well, that's crazy. I'm not sure I believe any of these alien stories, or certainly don't believe the CIA or what comes out of the Pentagon.
Absolutely. They don't know the truth, that's for sure. And everything they do is for misdirection. I mean, they want to put this shiny object in your face because they don't want you to look in the other direction.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
This is the article on Google. So let's check out this video.
Oh boy, Katy Perry.
1, 2, 3, take us space! Woo! Behind you, look, right behind you. It's okay, you it up there. Flynn, I got you. I got you, Flynn. Oh, the moon! You guys, I don't have to tell you. Look at the moon. Look. Okay. Look at the moon. Oh my gosh. So small. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's amazing. Oh my God.
Wow.
Gosh, that's good.
I know. Katie's face says it all right there. So, Katie, I'll jump to you for a comment. You holding up that daisy. I know you got to tell me outside the capsule how important that was, not only because it's your daughter's name, but everything that it encompasses for you. And I would love for you to share it with the audience.
I don't know if I can cry anymore. Daisies, sometimes people consider daisies weeds because they grow everywhere and through everything, and they show up in so many different places. But daisies are just so resilient. And flowers, for me, I believe, are like God's laughter and God's smile. And I brought a daisy because I have so much love for my daughter Daisy, and I have so much love for Mother Earth. And I believe you can see the beauty in the Mother Earth in a single resilient daisy. That's why I brought it.
So does anybody believe they actually went into space?
I don't.
I don't either. I mean, that was...
Well, you know, there are a lot of reasons for that. You know, you send a spacecraft up into space, and when it comes back, there's a lot of friction. Most of them you see when they come back, they're about burned up. This thing here was pristine. And then I said too, if they were actually in that thing, and it hit so hard, all of them would have to go to the hospital. I mean, it hit hard. But then the fact that they opened the door before they were supposed to. They opened the door from the inside. And then somebody ran up and said, "Don't open the door." Too late, already opened the door. So they closed it so Bezos and his clumsy self would fall down coming around that to it to unlock it. So
They ruined the photo op.
Just a mess. It just killed it. So, but there's a big backlash. And as you can see, she's not selling concert tickets. She's having to cancel some of them. People are tired of those phonies.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, you think too, if you're in space for the very first time in your life, you'd be a little bit more amazed about the, you know, the outside and experience. But you know, they had all these props and all this silliness.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't realistic at all.
Yeah, they went up into space without even having a helmet on.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean,
come on. And then she's got this satanic symbol on her suit. I'm over it. I hope a lot of folks are. Bezos, I hope he thinks before he pulls another stunt like this, because this is not helping anybody.
No, it wasn't. It looks like the goat in that symbol that you see. So the state of Ohio has 450 Masonic lodges and over 70,000 members. And how many?
13,000 of them in the United States.
Wow. Highly secretive organizations. Yeah, we've we've covered it a little bit in the past with some videos, but
well, I know a lot of folks that are Masons, and my dad was a Mason, but you never heard anything about what went on.
He never talked about it?
Him or anybody. Nope, not at all. So I don't know much about it, so I can't be critical. We have reported on it though, and there's some in the higher up for sure. There's some issues.
Yeah, I think we've heard that before, that certainly the people in the lower ranks are doing good, and they don't know what goes on way above. So, very interesting. A lot like the other secret societies, like the Skull and Bones.
Yep.
Folks won't talk about it either. They're members.
Right.
And then on the right, we had this Fox News article. Deported Maryland man, championed by Dems, was pulled over driving car belonging to human smuggler. So these are the kind of people the Democrats and liberals support. Human smugglers. They don't want them arrested or detained or deported. They want them set free.
Well, the first thing that ticks me off about this thing is a deported Maryland man. He's not a Maryland man. He's a freaking illegal alien. He's not supposed to be here. First off, I get tired of hearing that about a Maryland man that beat his wife, no less. And he's in the car with what? How many was it? 6 or 7 more? He was driving somebody else's SUV, but all the people that were in it had their home address listed as his home address. And then the other thing about that that's really gets me is that the Tennessee State Patrol called the FBI and they told them to turn them loose. So I'm telling you, Cash Patel and Dan Bongino got their work cut out for them. But this, you know, going back to it, this stupid senator from Maryland, this should end his career. Goes down there. Couldn't see him for a whole day. Finally, he wasn't even in the prison they thought he was in. Now 4 more of them idiots want to go down there from the House. And Jamie Comer sent him a letter, said, if you go, you're going on your own penny. Well, my bet is the Democratic Party paid for it, and they went. You're right. These are the type of people that they're going to defend, and they won't defend the American citizen. What do their constituents think about them? Why do they keep electing them?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I mean, it makes no sense why people would support the Democratic Party.
Nope.
So on the left, this is a theory, I guess. Dr. Kevin Reese, dementia is linked to statin drugs. Statin drugs came out in 1987, and Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia spiked in the 1990s. Now you see it all the time because so many people are on statins, which means they're not getting enough cholesterol, and you need cholesterol for your brain. And according to this post, normal cholesterol level was 300 before statins were created. And so as of, I think, 2013, there were 40 million people on statin drugs in the US, and I'm sure that number is a lot higher now. But just a theory.
Well, there's 2 of them in our house that's on it. And it's a theory. Kind of makes sense. And what does, if you're given a drug that creates another ailment, what does that do for the drug companies? It creates another revenue stream.
Right.
So that's what that's all about. You can call me cynical all you want to, but they give us stuff to cause stuff so they can sell us more stuff and treat that stuff. If that ain't enough stuff for you, that's what's going on.
Yeah, big pharma creating revenue streams.
Absolutely.
Keep us sick.
Yeah, exactly the reason why they tried to put hydrochloroquine and ivermectin under wraps during COVID. And of course we know that ivermectin is almost a miracle drug. And they don't want that to get out because of course it's driven the price up for the demand, I guess, has, and it's not manufactured like it was. But I know during COVID I bought some ivermectin. And luckily I never had to take it, but I had it on hand just in case. And since South Carolina passed this bill, I'm gonna get me some more. I happen to have connections in South Carolina.
Yeah, I recommend people get. I mean, ivermectin is a miracle drug. I mean, there's a lot of studies that it cures some types of cancers. And it's a very safe drug also, so.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, like you said, before COVID, both of these medications were cheap.
Yeah.
Not so much now.
Nope. And that's a whole nother subject we can go into and spend hours talking about people that need to go to jail for that.
Yeah. That'll be in the future podcast.
Yeah.
So tunnels under DC stretch all the way across the country. So now you know why there's so much human trafficking and how it's so easy. All these tunnels running all over the US and underground. Because we did a podcast on tunnels a while back.
We did, we sure did.
So I think there's no doubt that these exist. how elaborate they are. I guess, that's debatable, but see, this is just a short clip. This is a clip of an interview with Julie Bryant, who was one of the victims and survivors from the Jerry Epstein. So let's take a look at that.
Like we spoke about, and it's a very difficult thing to explain because a lot of people wouldn't understand it, but it happened. He turned into something in front of my eyes, and and people question it and say, was I maybe drugged or something? I don't know. But the thing is, I do know that I've experimented with drugs years later, and I never ever saw anyone turn into anything ever. I obviously don't do drugs, but from the times when I slipped up and did them as a young person being stupid, but I wasn't doing any drugs there. We weren't allowed to do drugs. We weren't allowed, I'd never touched drugs. I'd actually never done a drug when I saw that. I'd maybe smoked a joint. Well, I definitely had smoked a joint, but I'd never ever touched any drug by that point in my life. And I think if I'd been drugged, I would have actually been aware of it because I would have felt weird. Another weird thing is I've seen on the one documentary that Lisa Bryant made, I saw myself walking in the background and it almost creeped me out because it almost looks like I'm sort of floating. Because it's the thing is with hypnosis and cults, what I'm starting to realize is this was more like a sort of culty thing. Yeah. Where he was trying to get hold of people, and I think that's why a lot of people won't come forward because a lot of people might have been benefiting. It was a sort of it was a place where you didn't come out feeling normal, to be after being around them, and I can't really explain it because I don't have the intelligence or the background, to this. But there's some very, very clever people out there who understand things like this that would be able to understand what was going on. But it was just very, very frightening being around them, and I don't think I was drugged. When I saw him shift, I saw that, and I don't know if I was drugged, but I did see him turn into something, and it was very much there, and it was very frightening. It sort of shook my whole perception of reality and everything, and it's something I couldn't even speak about at the time because I couldn't tell my mum more about what had happened there, and it's just something I talk about, but it's something that I've very much saw.
So Johnny, you watched the whole interview, did?
Yeah, it's been quite a while ago. She's pretty interesting. I tell you, that's something that about this Epstein thing that's really got to be brought to light. The list has got to come out. We need to be told exactly what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm really perplexed, and I shouldn't be, I guess, because knowing our government like they are, but why they hadn't released this list? Why don't they get the information out? They said they were going to do it. I don't know why it'd be so difficult. I know Pam Bondi used the national security excuse, which I think is totally ridiculous. I just think it's some big names around Washington that's blocking it. It's all involved.
Yeah, I think you're right, and people are disappointed and upset that the information hasn't really come out about the Epstein. They had the photo op thing they did early with the folders, which was just nothing. So people want to see arrests. They want to see the list, who's going to, who went to the island. So
yeah, when are we going to get serious about human trafficking? When are we going to? I mean, we're talking about young girls here, but there are lots of right now, much younger children, even toddlers. I heard a story about a guy, I don't know exactly where it was, where he was renting out his little 2-year-old to people an hour at the time.
Yeah,
it's an income maker. It's sickos. So it's time we did something about it. Quit talking about it.
And unfortunately, there's so many powerful people that are involved in this human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully we're gonna see some arrests at some point. But
I do think we need to give him some time. I mean, Cash Patel hadn't even been in there 100 days yet. Dan Bongino's been in there about a month. So, I mean, we do have to give him some breathing room, and that's what John Rich said. I listened to, he was interviewed by Benny Johnson. That's what he talked about. He said he's tired of hearing folks criticize those people. He knows them. He knows they're all good people. And he knows that something will come out eventually. We just need to give them a little space. So I won't continue to be impatient. There's probably a lot of truth to what he said.
Well, one point is, you know, they can't just release the list of names, right? If they're not ready to grab and arrest those people, you know, they got to be ready, because these people are going to flee. If they get word anything's going to be released, so you know they've got to be ready to either arrest them ahead of time before they release the names.
That's true.
So I guess maybe that's part of what's taking longer. At least we hope that's what's really happening, that they're, you know, getting preparation to take these people down. Well, Johnny, that brings us about to the close of the podcast.
Yep. A lot of interesting subjects.
Yeah, I agree. Very interesting, and hopefully people enjoy the content and learn something.
Yep. I certainly hope so. I like the verse that you picked out for this week. The Lord is a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. And those who know your name put their trust in you. For you, O Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. With that, Chris, I'm going to sign out from Opelika, Alabama. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you at the next podcast.
And with that, I'm going to sign out from Opelika also. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Please like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed the podcast. And we'll catch you next time.
Won't hurt you to try. No contract, no hidden fees. Just a bunch of TV stations. Channels and movies.
You can share it and get yours for free. You got unlimited streaming, 0 monthly bill. You can try it for 15 days for $14.99. All good stuff,
what
I think.
Deal. Yeah, what a deal.
Great deal.
Yeah, if you can get yours for free just by referring 3 people. And then, of course, it goes beyond that. If you look into it, if you're interested in additional income, there's a good income program attached to it, too.
So we'll put the link in below the video to how you can sign up and get your free trial of Q streaming.
You give her a try.
And as they say, this changes everything.
Welcome to the world of Q Broadcast, where the future of home entertainment is here today. Now you can say farewell to cable and other streaming services that limit your options and open the door to unlimited possibilities. Q Broadcast gives you the power to choose what you want to watch, when you want to watch, and where you want to watch your favorite shows and sports on up to 5 devices simultaneously. Q Broadcast brings together all your favorite streaming services in one place for only $2 a day. That's live TV, movies, new and classic TV series, pay-per-view for only $2 a day. You can't get a cup of coffee for that. We make it simple. With the easy-to-use interface that is intuitive and user-friendly, we make it a breeze for you and your family to find something you all love. You can take Q Broadcast wherever you go. You can start watching on your phone and seamlessly continue on to your TV, iPad, or laptop. With the Q Broadcast app, you can watch on any device, whether you're on a road trip or flying to your next destination. Q Broadcast is compatible with most streaming devices and smart TVs, so you can enjoy your favorite shows and movies on the big screen. And for all the sports fans, Q Broadcast offers your favorite college and professional sports from around the world, providing the ultimate sports experience. Q Broadcast is the future of home entertainment. Say goodbye to cable and limitations and embrace endless possibilities. Upgrade to Q Broadcast today and start enjoying the freedom to watch what you want, when you want, and where you want for only $2 a day. Q Broadcast. This changes everything.